When Scar took over as king of the Pride Lands, everything just started falling apart. It was like the whole place went downhill fast. So in this video, we're gonna take a really close look at just how terrible of a king Scar actually was, and why his reign was such a disaster for the Pride Lands. First off, the very first thing he did when he became king was to completely ignore the Circle of Life. Now, the Circle of Life is this big idea that Mufasa talked a lot about.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance. As king, you need to understand that balance and respect all the creatures, from the crawling ant to the leaping antelope.
It's all about the natural balance in the ecosystem, how every animal and living thing has a role to play. It's about respect, where some animals eat others, but it's all controlled so nothing gets out of hand. The whole system works because of that delicate balance. But Scar didn't care about that at all. He just threw that whole philosophy out the window. Instead of keeping things in balance, he let the hyenas, who were his allies but also a big problem, eat whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, all over the Pride Lands. This was a huge mistake because those hyenas started eating way too many prey animals. They didn't think about what that would do to the land or the animals that depended on it. Because of the hyenas' uncontrolled hunting, the prey populations plummeted. Without enough prey, the food web started collapsing. That meant fewer animals overall, and the land itself began to suffer because the whole ecosystem was out of balance. What had once been a green, thriving and lush land full of life started turning dry and barren. Trees died, plants shriveled up, and the whole place looked like a dusty, lifeless wasteland. It went from beautiful and full of life to stark and depressing, with nothing left but skeletons and bleached bones scattered around.
Scar, there's no food, no water.
Yeah, it's dinner time, and we ain't got no stinking entrees.
It's the lionesses' job to do the hunting.
Scar didn't change the fact that the lionesses were the ones who hunted. That's always been their role, but what he did was force them to keep hunting even though conditions had gotten really harsh.
Where is your hunting party? They're not doing their job.
Scar, there is no food. The herds have moved on.
No, you're just not looking hard enough.
It's over. There is nothing left.
There wasn't much prey left because of overhunting by the hyenas, so the lionesses had to struggle harder than ever just to find food. They had to go out and find enough food not just for themselves, but also to feed Scar and the hyenas. On top of all that, Scar treated them badly. Instead of stepping up to fix the problems or helping the Pride Lands get back to the way it was when Mufasa was king, when things flourished and wildlife thrived, Scar did absolutely nothing to help. He didn't care about improving the land or protecting the animals. He just cared about his own power and keeping control. Even when it got really bad and food was scarce, Scar was way too proud and arrogant to admit things weren't working. Instead of thinking about what was best for everyone, like maybe taking the Pride Lands lion pride to follow the animal herds somewhere else, he stubbornly refused to leave.
We have only one choice. We must leave Pride Rock.
We're not going anywhere.
Then you have sentenced us to death.
Then so be it.
You can't do that.
I am the king. I can do whatever I want.
During a normal dry season, animals would migrate or move around to survive, but Scar, obsessed with keeping his throne, ignored that practical survival move. He ruled the Pride Lands by scaring everyone. He wasn't a king who led with kindness or wisdom, he used fear to keep control. The hyenas were basically his personal army or enforcers, doing whatever he wanted and making sure nobody dared to challenge him. Because of that, most of the other animals either got driven out of the Pride Lands or just stayed quiet and suffered without making a fuss. Scar had no interest in being a good leader or caring for his kingdom. His main goal was to prove that he was better than Mufasa, but honestly, Scar didn't even come close to Mufasa's level. He was a terrible king in every sense of the word.
If you were half the king Mufasa was, you
I'm 10 times the king Mufasa was.
He wanted to prove to everyone, and maybe even convince himself that he could be a better ruler than Mufasa. But as we saw, that just wasn't true. Scar failed at being a good king, and his selfish obsession with power only destroyed the land and hurt its people. The good news is things didn't stay bad forever. After he was defeated at the end, the Pride Lands slowly started to heal and go back to the way they used to be. Life began to return once again in full force, with the animals thriving and the land growing lush and green. The balance was restored, and the Pride Lands became a home full of life and hope. Just like it was before Scar's reign of fear and destruction.